Most families don't lose wealth because they didn't make enough. They lose it because they did not properly educate the next generation to handle it. I'm Kyle, and I help people build financial frameworks and systems around the world of banking, tough money, and generational wealth. And one of the greatest tools and assets you can use to accomplish all three of those things is a properly structured whole life insurance policy. Now, in this video, I'm going to break down one of the greatest ways to transfer wealth from generation to generation, but it has to come with the right interdependent relationships, and stewardship, legacy, vision, values has got to be part of your conversation. Now, let's jump back into an idea that I love to talk about, which is this idea of creating abundance or excellence in all areas of life. Part of your wealth transfer strategy should also include how do you want the next generation to remember you, and how do they know what was built for them? What were some of the things that the family was working on, believed in, so that they have that roadmap, that compass, that guiding light towards this is what the new definition of my family really means, and this is how you all have access to these things in the future. And so it's not enough just to transfer money to the next generation. We have to set them up properly, and this is a leadership conversation. Now, quick recap of our path of money framework and where life insurance existed. You see, as a family, you're going to spend money, you're going to donate some, the rest is called savings. We very intentionally decided to save money in a whole life insurance policy because I think it is the toughest asset foundationally you could ever own because of the unique benefits. You got to remember, everything I'm talking about in this video, life insurance has nothing to do with rates of return or investments. It is the toughest foundational asset you can own because of these 8 benefits on your screen right now. The reason I wanted to save money in whole life insurance is because I got a contract with certain guarantees for the rest of my life. I'm guaranteed that my cash value will constantly compounding every year for the rest of my life. It's always liquid. It is private. I can borrow against that cash value on the most flexible, favorable loan terms, allowing me to never lose control of my money and always have it available for opportunity. My cash values are increasing every single month, regardless of what markets or interest rates are doing. I get a very competitive yield locked in for my entire life, and there is an income tax-free transfer of wealth, which is the death benefit portion of the policy. And I'm going to spend some considerable amount of time focused on this death benefit conversation, which I don't think gets enough attention in the life insurance industry. Are the living benefits of whole life insurance incredible? Absolutely. Undeniable. But I hear this being talked about all the time, and I've got a completely different view on this now, being 37, having 4 young kiddos, a beautiful wife, Diane. And when I first married Diane over a decade ago, life insurance was not that compelling of a conversation. But what I did love as a young newlywed, I'm looking to, prepare my family financially, and all these living benefits of life insurance, the competitive yield, the loan provision, those were the things that were exciting to me. As I became a father, my role and responsibility changed around leadership and protecting my family. I'll tell you now, the death benefit piece to these policies is more important to me than ever. So let's jump into this. My wife and I started buying life insurance well over a decade ago, properly structured whole life insurance. And this was a while back. And one of the greatest benefits we get about these policies is the privacy. And so, I've got a great relationship with my tax strategist. He doesn't even know how much insurance we own. But we do show enough of this so that people understand that we're serious about this business. We live what we preach. We practice what we say we're going to do. I think that's the only way that we can actually show real integrity, is there has to be consistency behind the integrity. If we're not doing what we say we're doing, why would anyone bother to follow us? So at this time, my wife and I were both insured total for about $12 million. So something happened to her, something happened to me. We were traveling on a vacation and something happened to us. $12 million is instantly created that would go to our estate, our trust, and we have parameters and infrastructure and guidelines around what would happen with that money. So as soon as my wife and I had enough death benefit, and obviously this comes with cash value, that we felt like we had enough protection for that event. Now, let's have a quick conversation about this too. Think about how unique of an asset life insurance really is. You're buying this asset that comes with tons of benefits, and one of the benefits is this death benefit. And life insurance is the only insurance that I've come across that you have a 100% chance of using in your lifetime. You just don't know when. So the longer you hold whole life insurance, the more effective it's going to be for you. The policies that I've owned for 10 years, I have over 100% of the premiums I've paid into those policies available as cash value. That's the equity portion. So think about that. I've been paying my home and auto insurance for 20 years, and I don't have a dollar to show for any of that, and I've never had to use that insurance yet. Now, it's there to protect me against catastrophic events. Well, so is my life insurance policy. The difference is it's got cash value buildup, so I get to use that while I'm alive for opportunities and my emergency fund. But I have a death benefit that's constantly going up every single year due to the policy structure and design and being with a great, strong, mutually owned carrier like One America. So for an insurance that has to pay out, this is one of the greatest things you can buy, and as early in life as possible. So naturally, when we felt like we had enough insurance at that time, we started placing the largest policies we possibly could on our kids. Now, when I say a large policy on a child that's a minor under 18 years old, usually carriers will insure minors up to $1 million of coverage. And that, as a parent, if you're looking to do this for your kids, you would save or deposit in the form of premium maybe $5,000, $7,000, $8,000 per year. That would be the premium would max out your kids on a life insurance protection death benefit conversation. So here's our 4 beautiful kiddos. We got my oldest Riker, our second Ridge, our third Remington, and our little baby girl Blakely Joe. Now the death benefit total for these 4 kiddos is almost $4 million, and you wouldn't believe how fast those policies have been growing. It's the earlier you start this on your children, the better the outcome's going to be. And as soon as I had my immediate family, my wife and I and our beautiful kids protected, we had additional cash flow. We were growing. We're getting better at our business every year. We're investing now. We're making more money. We need more places to store this money. So I said, you know what? I would like to get some policies on my mother-in-law, Carol, my parents, Cindy and Kempton, because I don't feel like they had enough insurance protection, and Diane and I were in a place where we could buy policies on the previous generation. So my wife and I fund those policies, we own them, and our trust is the beneficiary of the death benefit of those policies. Now, you do have to get permission before you start doing this. They would have to know that you're doing this and you're doing it for a reason. So here's what's interesting about this. All of us have a 100% chance of passing away. So by the time generation 1, the previous generation, realistically should pass away, that death benefit will grow well over $1 million, and we have a guaranteed $3.2 million that's going to transfer income tax-free to Diane and I. This is wealth that will absolutely transfer. Now, I have yet to come across a situation in my life where having a massive influx of cash is not going to benefit my financial position. I've got financial goals. I have not set a target in the future where inheriting a windfall of that kind of capital is going to put me at a disadvantage. We'll put it that way. So that $3.2 million is going to come to Diane and I. Obviously, we know where we're going to put that. We're going to load up and pay as much into premium on our current system of policies. We might buy new policies at that time, and we're going to expand our private banking business. Now, when my wife and I realistically pass away, assuming we don't buy any more life insurance, which is absurd because we're still in a heavy growth state, I still have not bought my largest life insurance policies to date. But this is our current system. So if we added no more to our current system, our death benefit would grow to about $34 million by the time my wife and I's time is up on this grand adventure of life, which means generation 3, which is my kids and Diane's kids, they're going to inherit about $37 million of straight cash to the estate that they will have access to. And their death benefit, those little $4 million policies on the 4 of them, will grow to about $20 million for their children. And this is one of the most effective ways I have found to pass on wealth generation to generation. So let's take a look at this. $3 million goes from the generation 1 to my wife and I, and then we're going to explode our premiums and buy much larger policies with that. But assuming we didn't, and we just kept that in a savings account earning nothing, we'd transfer that with our death benefit to the next generation. Our kids would inherit $37 million. Now, we are literally buying our net worth for pennies on the dollar. Here's what I mean. All the premiums I'm going to pay into the policies that we own on my parents and my mother-in-law, the wealth that will transfer back from what we put in is 47 cents on the dollar. So if I'm going to get $3 million back, that means we put in close to $1.5 million in premium over that time frame. So I'm literally creating and buying my net worth for pennies on the dollar. The policies that we have on Diane and I, per the premium we pay in and what we'll pay out, it costs us 22 cents on the dollar to transfer anything to the next generation. Very efficient. And for our young kids, this is why you want to start it as early as possible. Every dollar you pay in the form of premium, because their risk profile is so low, you just get a lot of bang for your buck. That doesn't mean that any generation's getting a deal. All of this is priced perfectly for the risk profile. That's one of the things that I love about life insurance. There's no deals in the insurance world. If you wait a week, a year, 2 years to buy insurance, the cost of insurance goes up because you're closer to mortality. It's not because you got riskier, it's just you got older. That's just the way things are. And so this is why when people see this, they say, oh, I wish I would have bought this stuff 20 years ago. Well, don't let that be the situation for your kids. So the wealth transfer from our kids to the next generation will only cost our family 10 cents on the dollar. It's an incredibly efficient way to transfer wealth. Now, this is what's so cool. Our guaranteed future legacy, because I'm big on multi-generational wealth, big on stewardship, is literally created by our savings environment. Think about that for a second. This is not the value of our business. These are not investments included in here. This is strictly where we save and store cash as a family. This is where our family holds money. This is not investments. This is not a business. This has nothing to do with this acceleration. So think about that. Are you leaving money, way too much money at a commercial bank where you're not getting enough benefit for that? And the whole goal here is stewardship and interdependent relationships. You see, when we talk about these key components of wealth building, everything in green is non-negotiable. Our kids have to learn about financial education. They have to have financial awareness, which is where our tough money curriculum comes into play. They have got to have a saving strategy, which feeds into the infinite banking concept. They're going to need to understand debt. They're going to have certain insurances in place. I'm a big advocate of whole life insurance as the primary savings and banking tool. They're going to have conversations around taxes, access, asset protection, living trust, all of those things. And those are all foundational. And banking is a foundational concept. This is why having the family banking education is so vital. All of our kids have to do these things in green. It's non-negotiable. And if we'll prepare them properly up at the top, how they want to manage cash flow, how they want to invest to support their idea of freedom, this would reflect in their own unique abilities. And what we're doing as parents here is we're giving them the greatest, toughest foundation so that they can experience as early in life as possible who they were meant to be on this journey and how they can have the most impact. And isn't that a compelling conversation? This is why I love this strategy. And let's just take a look real quick. We'll wrap this one up with what can one family accomplish by changing the family conversation, the dynamic, where we save, how we communicate with each other. One family can accomplish something we call stronger together. This has united and empowered my family. We are closer than ever around financial education. It's one of the most spiritual conversations we've had as a family, talking about money and the proper management and stewardship of it. We do this through intentional education and awareness over our money. You know, no one's coming to save us. That's the inconvenient truth. This is up to you and I to do this for our families. We get to beat the banks. This is a private banking solution for the family's financing needs. Go back and watch the video on the family banking business. There's so much cash flow available to us to use. Those are resources we get to use for our life's missions, and most of us just give that up to a commercial bank, and those commercial banks literally give us almost next to nothing in return. Next is self-reliance. We have the ability for our children and future generations to opt out of government-sponsored programs, which by now we know just flat out don't work. This is up to us. We've got to take this into our control, which is one of the most compelling ideas I think you'll read about in the book, Becoming Your Own Banker. We're never going to see, this is my opinion, a solution coming from the top down that's going to save us. This has got to be something that we unite and come together and fix this at a foundational level. Influence your family, then your community, then you could influence your city, your state, and maybe if we did that on such a large scale, we could influence this country. And that's one of the most compelling ideas I think Nelson Nash had in his book, Becoming Your Own Banker. If we got 10% of the US population to understand this, what an impact we would have all across the country for millions of American families. And the last thing is a concept we call infinite thinking. Imagine replacing this idea of retirement with purpose for our families. It is a 5 areas conversation. Instead of being focused on retiring, what if we focused on letting our kids as early in life go out and experience true abundance and excellence, truly serving other people in the other areas of life? We would impact and help so many families all over the world. So remember, always choose truth over trends, education over products, and people over profits.